Dang, you beat me to it.
Make a saving throw.
Con?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, you have advantage against poison for today.
So do I have
Yes.
advantage?
You do.
Hmm?
Or at least you should.
14.
Yeah. You take some damage though.
That's fine.
Not a lot, but you do take damage. Like, oh, your stomach just feels like it's burning. It's like, ah. And then not just because of the hooch, right? It's not just
Yeah.
It's like somebody just putting a knife through your guts. It's like,
I've drank with a half giant. I understand
Yeah.
what it's like to feel the burn of alcohol.
yeah,
Oh,
this
this
is
is
not it.
Is it poison?
Oh, it's pretty painful.
Uh,
if it's worth more of that, you probably think it'll kill you. So yeah.
Oh, this
More
is
than
poison.
alcoholism here.
This is poison.
Poison?
It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like acid, right?
Not really.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is poisoned.
It seems we've just increased to a double homicide.
This is getting incredibly proficient. Someone's covered their tracks very well. Whoever picked it up didn't want us to know that we picked it up from him.
I hate to be. I hate to press for certain things. I think we need to get who is at all possible in due zone of truth as soon as possible, because I'm worried for the lives specifically of you, and I will be speaking with not Rodrill, but
Product.
let me confirm. Cursed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting more and more concerned for yourself, Cursed, because you're looking into this.
Oh, definitely went from possible suicide to definite murder. That's for
Yes,
sure.
so I recommend we get anyone who we have mentioned, get them in a room, zone of truth,
Mhm.
and then ask if they know anything about the murder. Both of them.
Well, whoever did this has to have been here. I can't imagine they just convinced him to buy a bunch of drunken booze and then walk home with it all.
Out of curiosity, how old is this kid?
The orc?
The young one
Yeah,
or the orc?
the orc that we found in the bed.
No more than 20. He is
Nope.
pretty obese, but he's probably
No
about
more
20.
than 20. Fantastic. How old are the kids at the boarding house?
They're not kids in the boarding house. They are all adults.
All adults, but like, is it just younger adults or is it wide variety of age?
Variety of age. So basically, boarding house is wherever people who can't afford the inn and don't have a house of their own property, that's where they live. It's a flop house, basically.
Cool. Understood. And we've already established that one of the adults at the boarding house is friends with the younger of the family.
Who?
When we asked, she said yes. Didn't say who. But Brynja said yes.
No. She's. If I said that, I misspoke. No.
Okay, because that's why I suspected who I did.
Yeah, no.
Then I think
Her
for the
brother
moment you-
defended her sisters, but you know.
So if that's the case, that conversation.
What she said was that she was afraid the older sister would be upset.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm going to clarify because if that's the case, I wouldn't have offended Kurth because I wouldn't have mentioned half of the words that I did.
Okay.
When I asked Brynja if Ruby was friends with any of the kids or any of the adults that stayed at the boarding house, she answered yes.
I thought that what you asked was that she had other friends of her age.
No.
So but none of them in the boarding house.
Perfect. If that's the case, you can remove any of that part that would have recommended that I thought it was her.
Yeah, okay.
Because that would have never happened.
Okay.
In
the meanwhile, then, Hugh, could you go ahead and look outside and see if there's any disturbances? I'm still looking inside for any sort of suspicious thing other than just the alcohol. Maybe something else that may have been left behind.
Hell yeah, I'll do a survival check.
Wow.
I'm gonna I'm gonna re-roll that.
Now's the time for it.
25.
Ah,
Where are you looking?
I am looking in the general exterior of the house,
Mhm.
and just probably like 2 houses out as well, like that radius.
You notice, actually, no. If you're looking around the house, if you're looking for tracks on the ground,
Tracks on the
No.
ground, trees that seem damaged that don't make sense. It's just anything that's out of place.
at ground level, you don't find anything. Survival will be that.
Mhm.
Survival, yeah, no.
well, we know
Okay.
this person's a proficient climber already. If they got in
So
through a second-story window without anyone noticing.
in that case, I will investigate. I probably won't be successful, but I'll do it anyways. Advantage because of help. Yeah, that's what I expected. Nothing. Oh, that took away my lead.
So yeah, so I do have the 23 for investigation. We have the jugs here. Somehow they got poisoned. Is there anything around here that indicates how?
Nope.
Are there holes in the roof? Is there water damage on the floor?
No water damage on the floor.
Good
Okay.
line of questioning.
And no definite holes in the roof at all. Okay. How did he get these? Or who actually sells this in town?
Laren Fest. She has
Larenfest.
basically it's the inn is also a brewery because she brews her own mead and alcohol. Yeah.
Oh, somehow between there and here, it got poisoned.
Out of curiosity, did your brother and Larenfest ever have a physical connection?
No.
Okay. It had to be. I'm trying to help, okay?
And when you ask him, it's like he's just confused. It's like, what? That didn't even enter his mind. Like, what? No.
Okay.
She's happily married. My brother's not a cad. Well, he wasn't.
Then I suppose we need to at least inspect the brewery and see if anything untoward is happening there. That at least narrows down the possible points of contact. And the sooner we can clear the innkeeper, the better.
Okay.
So I believe we were going to go ahead and speak with Sham again.
Okay. You see that this back part here is a part where there's not a lot of them, but
Mhm.
enough that they could, So you walk in and she's like, she looks at you like, oh no, here we go again. Yeah. And she says like, what can I do for you, gents?
Well, I have more questions, wouldn't you know it? Sorry to continue to bother you. But you know of a very wide young orc smith in town. What was his name again?
Orso?
Orson. Yes, I see. I see you're familiar with him. You sold some. What's the polite way for local alcohol around
Sque-
here? I don't want to just say
Squeezing.
huge. I feel
Squeezings, that's what they are. Squeezing.
squeezings. There we
Yeah.
go. Your squeezings then.
Yeah.
That sounds even worse.
He
Compose yourself.
come in this morning.
No, he didn't come this morning, but he did order one yesterday. He picked up his last order yesterday.
Was he with anyone at the time?
No, he goes in the back and picks it. Why? He's screaming for more now? He drank it all already?
I don't think he's going to be a returning customer.
Oh no. She kind of leans
Yes.
back and it's like,
I need to ask you then about these
I'm afraid
squeezings.
so.
Are you the only one who manages them?
Well, I have my staff. I have my cousins.
Oh no, so many people.
And you realize that, and this is what I said before, that this place is, if this is the place where all the halflings, it's a large, almost smallish clan of halflings, right?
Right.
Coming in and out. You've been talking to her mainly, but the servant,
Mhm.
back, they're all halflings. The guy on the roof was a halfling. Everybody's a halfling here, as opposed to the guest.
Mm-hmm. So many of them. Would you happen to know which of them may have talked to him the most, or would frequently sell them, or sells at the middle of the night? Who manages that in particular?
We just know that he comes every 2 or 3 days. Every time he gets any silver from Charms, he gets paid.
Mhm.
He orders his bottles, and we already have them. He usually lasts about a couple of days at least, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. And there goes that income. I mean, not that I wish him harm or anything. It's just he was pretty reliable customer.
Of course. Could you show us around then? Maybe the person who sold to him is still here. Maybe they would know more.
By their back, and you talk to different halflings, and to say they basically leave them like this is the cheap. They have different. They don't have wine, but they have a couple of barrels, and this is like the cheap stuff. Like, and you get near it, and you can smell it. It's like, wow, this you could, if you were to breathe the wrong way here, you probably kill yourself and everybody around.
It's malt liquor.
Yeah, it's explosive. Like this stuff, it's in this rawest form, it's deadly. Right? It's nearly pure ethanol. Right? If we were modern. And just
I need to recharge my fire breath here.
Yeah.
Does the town have does the fort have a herbalist?
Not that you know of.
We can ask about that later.
Upon actually seeing this, Hugh will ask out loud, do you guys have like a herbalist or anything like that here?
And a couple of people point to one of the halflings. I do some remedies, sir. From time to time. On the side. Don't tell anyone, because I would have to pay taxes on that, and I don't want to.
Well, your secret's safe with us for right now. I feel like turning my head slowly over to Cursed, and then turning away.
Because it just hold the thumbs like, we have bigger problems than.
I'm specifically looking into the fact that of me asking this has caused her to get more concerned than just taxes. Because poison and medicine are very close.
Right. Hugh, I know you just drank it, and you have the bottle with you still, I bet. Maybe you could have him help you identify it, and maybe if there's a local substance involved. I think that's what you're thinking, right?
Well, first, what do I get from my insight when I ask the question?
He's worried.
Okay.
But the moment that Curse sort of falls his head, don't like it says not important, he sort of relaxes, right?
Okay. Well, if that's the case, we still have the jug. If maybe you could have some insights into what was used.
Okay, try. You can try to see if it can detect. He smells it. What is it? Ugh. Oh no, this is nothing from around here. And whatever it is, ow, my tongue, it's right. And he goes, grabs out like a cup of water. Ow, what the fuck is in that thing? I'll kill a horse.
I see. Do you happen to know what it might be?
Not from any plant I know.
No.
That's it's powerful stuff, I'll tell you. Now, most of the stuff that I've done, it's like to kill. Well, used to do some things to kill the rats and the like, but we got the catcher. The mouse catcher.
Good job too.
Mm.
So based off of that, do you think that would? I think that may lead to anyone who would have access or who visited from somewhere not close to here would be behind it, at least that part.
No one around here could have gotten a hold of it, like imported it somehow. That wasn't already not from here.
It's drugs are like. I know it's not from around here. That's for sure.
Out of curiosity, the brother that we're speaking with, is he older than the sister
Yes.
who is currently running the space?
No, it's
Okay.
older sister, the fraternal twins, and then the younger sister, which met in the Commons, Ruby.
What's the age difference between him and the older sister?
A couple of years.
Okay.
And I'll ask. So who was the one who actually sold the hooch, to the orc?
We just leave it. We just prepare it and leave it to him. We know he's gonna pick it up, and he points at a table.
Just left it laying around over here, right here.
He always picks it up.
And you collect payments. He just leaves it on the table.
Mm-hmm. Picked it up this morning.
And
I mean,
anyone
yesterday.
can come
He
through
said,
this back door.
yeah. Well, pretty much. In fact, you see this area sort of
No.
openish area, right? It's not because it's sort of it has a roof area extended. This area here is an extended roof, and it's sort of like kind of open. You know.
And I suppose no one was watching at the time and saw him come and pick it up.
Like the silver, I picked up the silver. It was there.
You there then? Good. You saw the silver. Did
Mhm.
you happen to see exactly when he came in?
No,
You weren't looking.
Just-
But you did hear him come in then, if you weren't so proximate, right?
yep.
All right. Did you happen to hear anything else beforehand? Did anyone else come by and pick up more, or did anyone else come by the table at all?
He looks around. Nope. Sorry.
It's getting difficult. Suddenly we have, well, every single person here and every single person in town. So we've kind of gone from narrow to just exploding outwards.
So, the orc comes in. He picks up poisoned alcohol. He leaves. He goes home. He drinks the alcohol. He dies. Someone comes in, not through the ground, gets the knife, goes out, goes and kills the other guy, leaves the knife, frames a suicide.
Someone who has to have known it was happening. Someone who had to have known about a secret present. Someone who had to have known he was going to be there doing his work. Who knows all of this? Yeah, I know you say. Who could have possibly known every single bit of this?
He was gonna ask to speak to Barracat outside.
Yeah, and I'll just stand here with Curse and go, doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't.
Barracat.
Yeah.
I think we may be thinking the same person.
Well, there's a very limited number of people in this town who could have that sort of skill set and also have access to all of that information.
So if that's the case, I could probably sneak off and go visit Halgra and report what we think we found, because all the information is too convenient. I don't like people dying. I'm fine if there's risk and I get my head cut off.
That would be good, but I'm not sure how your reputation is. Even if you
Um,
are actively engaged with us.
We could send someone with me, but that would be suspicious. I've been running around constantly, so you can just say I'm following another lead.
Okay. What's the motive?
The motive is that their father was killed by orcs, and now he's engaged to one. While some people openly harbor grudges, others harbor them secretly.
I'm just not sure if you should go alone.
Unless you can figure out a way that isn't suspicious for two people to go, then.
So the three people who knew were
Mhm.
Brynja,
Yep.
the dead guy,
Yep.
and the lead investigator.
Yes.
And okay. Yeah.
Out of character. I just want to say, if you do go and talk to Helgra, you probably should ask about what she knows about Kurst's own activity.
Oh, completely.
So-
Absolutely. Because it's
I-
definitely not like
I'm also going to
the
ask
small one.
about if she knew about her brother and Brynja.
Well, I don't know.
So I guess you two are going to kind of like disappear
could-
then for a bit.
We could just say we're gonna go
because we're still
update
determined.
her on.
No, because
like-
then that again, I think I have to take the risk of going by myself. I have my holy symbol, which shows that I at least have some good faith.
Could also set up a meeting.
Don't think we have
But-
time.
I mean, we can definitely keep him distracted.
If you can
I know
do that,
kids can definitely keep him distracted.
I think that's a risk that we have to take.
All right, if she doesn't listen to you,
Hmm.
come back and I can go and try,
Okay.
and we'll see how that goes.
Okay. And with that, Hugh will sneak off
Hmm?
and go to Halgra. English. He's not going to. He's going to very quietly leave the area, but once he gets close, he's going to politely approach and just be like, if there's guards out front,
Yeah.
I think I have a lead, but I can only report it directly to Halgra. It's concerning.
They basically send off someone to fetch her, and she comes out. Yes.
We've been running in circles, and I think I want to ask you a couple questions, but I think I may have a lead into what happened, and we think we may have cracked it.
Well, ask your questions then.
Were you?
And she's
aware,
she's very serious.
Yep. Were you aware of your brother Rodrill and Brynja's? It says Rodrill up here.
Oh, it should be Roderick.
Okay. Were you aware of your brother Roderick and Brynja's engagement?
What? I wasn't aware my brother was engaged to anybody.
Okay. Second follow-up question. How aware are you of your brother Kirst's activities over the past days?
He's the captain of the guard, my second in command. What's going on?
The only individual who seems to have all of the details about what happened is Kirst. We're going around in circles. We found his second body, which was poisoned from the large tankards of drink which he regularly picks up. There was a dagger commissioned, which was then picked up, which was used, which we have the receipt for. And then there's the perfume that led us to the fiance, who is very much distraught and did not do it. She has been very helpful, but the only person who has all the details is your brother first. Now, I don't think
what are
we
you
act on it,
saying?
but
What are
we
you
do
saying?
have a paladin with us who does have the ability to.
You say my brother
Make
did it,
people
and
speak the
basically
truth.
she cuts you off, grabs a couple of guards, and starts marching up in the direction of
Yep.
where he is.
I will make sure that she knows that Braith does have the ability to use Zone of Truth to clarify.
And she Jace gets there and says, sees him. And he's like, what's going on? And the guards kind of hesitate a little. It's like, I said sees him. And they grab him. It's like, what's going on here? And kicks you. So you see that they're grabbing Kursk. Like,
Yeah, Kix is like, I'm witnessing a coup of some kind here. Which side am I on? I'm not sure right now.
Well, is it really a coup if it's not the person in charge who's being seized?
Debatable, but
I think that's a different word.
I mean, it's still internal family affairs of a monarchy
Yeah.
ultimately.
and they grab him. It's like, take him to the longhouse now. And they just drag him. And it's like, what's going on here?
Every piece of information that we've gotten, including the room, the dagger, reason why suspicious, the harboring of the feelings because of father and the orc thing, all of it. And then I do recommend that Braith does have the ability to make.
They also grab and drag into Bria as well. Roughly. And she starts going into it. It's like, you knew about this, but her reaction is one of hurt and one of feeling a betrayal that they didn't trust her and that they would think that she would have a problem with it. And he starts saying, I've just suspected my brother's wishes, and about it. He didn't want to know when he thought you wouldn't be able to deal with it. You were very busy and all that. And she defends him, right? So they're kind of defending each other. But at no point does she goes, and at some point she goes, so that's why you murdered him. And he goes like, what? Who told you that? I think that's ridiculous.
Insight.
Is Braith there?
Yeah, Braith is Braith is with you, yeah.
Zone of Truth would have flown up for this.
Yeah, well, when he starts casting, the guards stop him. You have to explain that he he has to
there's still a chance that he's innocent. We have to give him some credit.
The shouting, the accusations back and forth. Most of the conversation, them not telling her.
Yes.
And in fact, it seems that kicks you. Yeah, you have no idea. This all shouting back and forth.
Each other. I don't get this. Is this what humans do?
I mean, they're just shouting back and forth. It's a mess. Right?
Perfect timing.
Like that.
Coming in.
Perfect timing.
So you have no idea what's going on. You and Kix was failed their insights. So.
Oh, I should probably be do that too. Even if
Oh.
it might not be good. Oh.
What happened?
It's perfect.
It's
It would super help. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So at least he can Barakat. Bria is hurt and confused. And Kursk is just angry and bewildered, like to being dragged into this place, being accused. I mean, it's just like he has, he's in shock, right. One moment he was with you, and then he looks at the kobolds like, "You believe that thing?" And he runs on Hughes like, "This is your fault, isn't it? You left, and then now I'm being dragged into this place. You believe that little critter? You believe him over me, for your own brother?" So now everybody's looking at you, basically.
Hugh, without batting an eyelash, will go. Based off the evidence we have gathered, yes. And if I am wrong, I accept the consequences. But as proof of my greater intention, he produces the holy sign of Bologna. He puts his hands out in front, just waiting in case there's going to be cuffs coming.
Okay, let's see how she reacts to that. Get that thing out of here.
Okay.
And two guards just grab you and
Fine.
detain you.
Perfectly fine. He's not fighting it whatsoever.
there is an obvious solution that
Yes.
would clear things up quite a lot.
I believe Barakat knows, and there are actually two things. The first would be, if you would agree, Hagra, Roderick's works may be on cursed person or in his possession in his rooms or other effects. If that is so, that would
he did.
confirm it immediately.
And
Though
if it didn't,
that would be speculative on where they might be after they went missing.
like comment.
The second, my friend Braith here, can perform a spell and clarify the truth with absolute certainty.
What manner of divination would this be?
It's holy magic.
As I've come to understand, all within must tell the truth, and that is all.
Do a persuasion check for him. Yeah.
Okay.
Does the fact that Braith is clearly of cord affect the roll?
Do you want us both to roll it,
It's
or
just one person. You can assist, but yeah.
all right? Well, you got a 19 anyways.
Yeah. I probably should let you do that, but sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, cast whatever you need to cast.
All right.
Uh,
Let's take a look at that zone of truth.
Let's look at the spell.
Because he probably gets a chance to resist it.
Spells.
He does, but if he resists it, Braith knows.
Yeah.
Until the spell ends, creature enters the spell's area for the first time on their turn or starts its turn there must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, a creature can't speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. You know whether a creature succeeds or fails its saving throw. An affected creature is aware of the spell and can thus avoid answering questions which affected that it would normally respond to. So in this case, we've said all this aloud, and I assume he's probably in the same area room, right?
Yeah. Braith casts a spell. Takes some. Nobody resists.
Okay. Now we're going to be completely honest and give full answers and not try and dodge questions. Right?
Mhm.
So.
You're all yours.
We should begin with Cursed. Do you know who killed your brother?
No.
Okay. Do you have suspicions as to who might have killed your brother? other than
No.
perhaps himself?
No. That's why I'm investigating. With you, I may add.
Yes. Do you know of anyone who would have the skill set to climb to a second-story window and come through it?
Does he actually know about somebody who
Ah, yes, the local parkour expert.
the only ones who hangs around in rooms is the Thatcher.
Is the Thatcher.
Yes.
And the Thatcher is a halfling, part of the whole crew, who would have had opportunity to do these things. In your opinion.
I mean, if he is part of the halfling clan, I suppose he would have the opportunity. Now that I think about it.
Okay.
Problem is motive. Why would he do it?
That's a good question. Now, have any of the halfling family had issues with the half orcs or the orcs in general that rampage around here and cause chaos?
Well, everybody has a. and she looks at Brina like, "I'm sorry, Lydia," but and she sort of nods. It's like everybody has problems with the orcs of the South. We are at war with them, after all.
Well,
You've seen the walls.
any deaths or anything?
What recently?
Yeah, recently.
Well, the halflings stay inside indoors, so I don't inside the wall, so I don't think they have many casualties. But everyone here knows that has the loss.
Okay.
Someone has lost family members, and I'm sorry to say, and he sort of puts a hand on Brynja's sort of well, not thigh, but sort of arm. Not all the half orcs here came by, shall we say, gently.
I see. And Brina, how many
Yes,
people knew about the commission of that dagger?
I ordered it from Sarah. She should have known, and whoever. I suppose that's it.
So just you and her,
Yes, I said it was a
and the guy
surprise.
who is now dead.
Oh, he's dead? She didn't know
He
that, by the way.
appeared. Yeah,
He didn't know
he
that.
has been poisoned by alcohol, which is made in the brewery of the halfling clan. So, do you know anyone who might have issues with um what was his name? Roderick?
No. I mean, the Graths have been the leaders of this town for at least a generation. I no.
Yes, it's obviously Margaret Thatcher. No one else could have done it. Um, okay. Do you know why he might have gone there to do whatever his writing stuff?
and you see that that Hegra sort of rolls her eyes. It's like she liked the privacy. Like I said, she said it before. He likes the privacy. He liked the privacy. He said he couldn't write here because there was so much commotion and family affairs and the like. And Hagrid was like, my brother was a dreamer. He dreamed of better things. He dreamed of one day having his plays play in the opera of Greyhawk, opera house at Greyhawk.
Okay.
Guess those dreams will never come true now.
And how many people would have known he would have been there on that day specifically.
Anybody who saw him come in, he would regularly rent that room. I think he just right, and I mean he would. And Helga said, whenever the inspiration struck his fancy, he would just go there. Probably once a week, maybe twice a week.
Okay. I'm going to ask something that might sound strange. Would there be any reason for Lord Maestron to interfere with your family at all?
We say that everybody looks at Hagra. Hagra's about like, just give me an excuse to wring that little bastard's neck. Do you have one?
Well,
And
I-
and Kurt goes like, sister. Already wild accusations have been like Master and I were our fathers when they were alive. They made a compact. We were to be betrothed when we came of age. His father died first. The orcs assaulted their keep and killed him and most of his retinue. Master was forced to escape. My father died last year. In the winter, in fact. Ambushed by orcs. Now, I didn't think about anything about Master until he showed Baron Greyhawk and claiming that I should fulfill
Well, if
our
it matters,
arrangement.
if it matters, I overheard the reason why he was staying was to follow through with that courtship.
He's only allowed here because of our parents' friendships. But I know who he is. I know who he follows.
His
Well, no.
intention is to take his time and do whatever he has to do, no matter how long it takes to follow through with that.
Well, my intention is going to kick the bastard out as soon as I can arrange it. Because there will be no marriage. Period.
I don't think any of us are against that.
But Chris was like, but how is that connected to my brother's death then? If anything, it would make it worse. Because if he were to be found out, well, I don't think he would survive my sister or me or our family or the entire town for that matter.
It's a very weak allegation. It's just possible.
It could also make sense because the poison didn't come from
It is a
local.
foreign poison, and he is the only other foreigners besides us here. And we came in after he was dead. How long has he been here?
A few days. He came in about nearly a week before you arrived.
So
5 days at the most.
Who have you had watching him?
The guards are keeping an eye on him, and everybody keeps an eye on him. If he moved anywhere else, everybody knows. Situation.
Is there someone that he could have promised power to in exchange for assistance?
The hell I know. And if I find out, they're gonna regret it.
Well, so far, we know that the halflings have the opportunity and no motive. You all have motive, but not really opportunity.
We
and the
don't have
motive is
any
somewhat weak.
motives. We don't have any motives. What's your
It's
motive?
very weak. But fuck. The
Maestro?
evil lord of Edgelord McGee has motive to create a problem for you to try and then solve it. And the opportunity is debatable.
can we prove that he knew the knowledge? Or somehow
We're
found out?
still missing your brother's work.
Could have been the burning smell that the cat got.
Burning smell.
Yes,
What burning smell?
the mouse catcher was not able to get into the room, but smelt perfume burning, and then heard a bit of a tussle to a fall.
We're going with the stains
Hey,
of a cat? Really?
That's what led to the perfume, which led to this all this connection starting.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, that's
Natural
a hard
one.
fail. Yeah, that's a hard
Yeah.
fail right there.
Yikes.
You know, you say that and nobody connects the dots, basically.
Just druid things.
So
So-
Brave basically takes you aside to kicks and whispers. The spell has run out, but as long as it was available, they would tell the truth.
yeah, Kix will go ahead and nod and thank Braith and say, like, they haven't been asking questions really for about 7 minutes, so.
Maybe we check Lord Mastron's room for documents.
It's possible that he's hiding that, I guess.
You know, I have an idea. Vericat.
Yes.
So, out of character, spell, locate object.
Mhm.
You can only locate things familiar to you. We're not familiar with the object. Someone else is. We have a ring that stores spells and lets someone cast them.
Yeah.
If you could take the time to prepare the spell, put it in the ring, and then we give the ring over to, say, Cursed, and he casts it to find a thing he's familiar with, like, say, these writings of his brother, we might know where it is.
That would require him actually knowing it. Like, having
You just
seen
have
it
to
and
be
such.
aware of the
Yeah.
works,
Okay.
which I think is a good chance.
Right. You have
but
to be
also,
somewhat familiar with it. That's all
we
it
have
says.
to
Just
actually
object
have
familiar
the
to you.
spell.
Mhm.
Which as a base I don't.
It says it's a bard spell.
Yeah, but bards don't get access to the
Yeah.
rule list.
Oh, right.
Gar might
Clerics
have
do
it
as
but-
well, actually. It's also
Oh,
a second level
is it a
divination.
cleric spell?
It is
Yeah.
a bard, cleric, druid, paladin, ranger, wizard spell.
Man.
Everyone
crazy.
gets the spell.
While
That's
that
the
is
funny
being
part.
taken care of, if that is our plan,
Ritual, sad.
he would actually like to
But
speak
only
to
wizard
Cursed.
spells can go into the ring.
It's still a wizard
But it
spell.
is a
Doesn't matter
wizard
if
As
spell,
long as
Cursed
it's
right?
on the
casts it.
wizard spell list is what we've clarified.
Great.
Because
Cursed,
I've been taking from you and you're a bard,
Yeah,
but
so-
it's still a wizard spell.
I
think
would
that would work, yeah.
Cursed. I would like to apologize and go one step farther in saying if in the future you ever do need a favor handled that you think I may be suited for, I will gladly assist you, as per the fact of the false accusation. I want to make sure that my word holds weight.
He looks at you and he sighs. That's fine. I will not
Alright.
ask you to do more.
I will
necessary.
remember.
You already have done quite a bit.
I will remember this, whether you call on it or not.
There is another point with Mastrin. His father was killed by orcs, and he doesn't seem to like them very much. And if he were to find out that his betrothed, her sibling, was engaged to one, I imagine he would not be very pleased.
All right.
So there is additional motive.
All right.
which seems reasonable. So yeah, if we can have Wraith
Yeah.
get
Braith
the spell.
stops, meditates, gets the spell, puts it in ring, hand ring over, they cast it. Or Cursed cast it in specific. That, I think, is our next possible
think
point
that
of
is
investigation.
I think that's the
best move we can
the
make
best
now, yeah.
move.
And also it would work, like, mechanically.
Yup.
And then we can literally just follow him. And there's no
So
lead here.
what you're trying to do is that you're going to confront Mastron.
If that's where it leads. Because the ring
To
should lead us to
the
writing.
works, and whoever killed him also stole the works for some reason.
Or at least it would give us another thing to look into.
Not get involved in the internal affairs of other people's families. I mean, yeah, you giving up is all actually technically an option. Just going, hey, we did our best. We clarified this was definitely not a suicide but a murder. You take your conclusions from here. But we're also gamers and we ain't giving up, are we?
Yeah, I think if that, like, doesn't work, it's pretty hard to stick anyone with anything.
Right. We
I
don't
mean-
find the murder, which is terrible. On the other hand, at least it's not a suicide.
So you're going to give the finding.
Locate object,
Yeah.
Okay.
have them
Locate
cast
object,
it, locate
and Curse is going to
his
cast it.
works.
Hey, think the best possible one, except not.
Definitely at some point.
So you give him the ring.
Yes.
What's the range of the spell?
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet. If this map is to scale, which it probably isn't, one side to another is like 400.
It still is up for 10 minutes, so he can walk around.
We can't just walk around, yeah.
Yeah. We could also start from the center of town too and like get a larger degree.
Okay.
We can also start closer to where we think it is. Maestron's place.
Okay, so you start in matron space. Surprisingly, the ring, he says, I mean, you explain how it works, etc. He's a bit dubious, but it points in this direction. Back at the end.
Back at the end.
Oh, that's even worse.
So it's there.
And you're back in the inn, and you search, and in one of the rooms, the innkeeper opens a door, and it's a very similar room, same description, even has a writing desk. And it points to the writing desk. And you already know that the one writing desk has a secret compartment. This one also happens to have a secret compartment. And there's a book there. Now, as you leaf through the book, you find that it has a lot of stories and plays and notes, but about 1/3 of it has a series of notes, and they're not about not not related to the. And he says, about a week and a half ago, the first notice is that ran afoul of a troll near the plague house not long ago. The poor fellow was convinced it was not just but I'm convinced it's not an isolated incident. the troll fled before I could chase. I have to go back to second entry is I need to go back to the plague house, but I can't. I know that I have to meet Brainia before I go there. I don't know how to do that. Better meet her before I go to the plague house. Third, if there are trolls running around the plague house, that I must find a way to bring tinder and fire. Otherwise, I'll be a dead man if they find me. What else did you see? Don't know what. And there's another thing. So I don't know what the troll was doing at the playhouse. For a very long time. Okay, so here's the notes. Which I could devote to my fears and hopes, my beloved Brainia. The risk is too great. Of course, I could hate to implicate her in the dire scheme I only started to unravel. Not to mention how much I fear that I recovered my loss on the home night she gifted me. What a fool I've been these past few weeks. I have had strange dreams about the playhouse. I'll people what the strange dreams pretend, but I must investigate the playhouse ruins once again. Tonight, if Ruby's Hope Knife ceremony is tomorrow, I will search the ashes once. Catrice, I know his. I will hold the journal for safekeeping in my room while I go investigate. So that's what happens. Those are the entries there.
Do we know where the playhouse is?
The plague house. He mentions the building just outside town, right here. Used to be about 10, 15 years ago. There's a plague that swept through the town, and it was a very intense, difficult plague. The clerics that had been at the time that come in tried to contain it, but it spread too fast, so they moved everyone to this house outside of the walls. Later on, there was an incident where it burned down. There was a miscommunication between the clerics and the townfolk. The townfolk thought that the clerics actually were spreading the plague rather than curing it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the ensuing riot, the playhouse burned down with a lot of victims and most of the clergy. It's one of the reasons why in this town there is no clergy. I mean, you have noticed that there are no clerics.
Very interesting. For more days investigating. So, but these notes are very interesting because he went there to investigate. There was a troll, and after he went to go investigate and deal with the troll, he uncovered some sort of dire conspiracy. And then when he came back here, he's been murdered.
And he kept a journal for safekeeping in his room.
In a separate room, even.
Mm-hmm.
Which I believe we were informed. We're not informed he had also rented out, and so we never investigated it.
Yep. Is the journal that or like the book or whatever that he's referring to in there the same one we're reading, or is it like a separate one?
No. It's basically it's a book of poems and stories, and then in the last third, it's a notebook, and the last third he's dedicated to being a journal investigation. He stopped working on his art and he started working on the investigation. And so it's like taking a notebook and just keep writing something else. Like in the first half or 2/3, it's one thing, and then he switched over it. Well,
Right.
paper being what it is, which is expensive.
Cool.
This just gets even more worrying, because if it was just some outside conspiracy here to kill him for investigating, why would they go through all the trouble of trying to frame everyone else around him and kill a blacksmith who would barely have even known anything at all?
Hold on. Hugh will
On
just be
the-
like, well, shouldn't have the girl downstairs have told us about this additional room if we were investigating?
I would have hoped so.
On the bright side, we know that ourselves, the lead investigator, the leader of this place, and presumably their younger sister, are clear entirely of
Yep.
being involved.
Again, Gar, same page. So
Yeah.
I think we kind of have to
Yeah,
go check why she didn't tell us about this second room.
seems
Yeah.
reasonable.
We also do only have 2 minutes left as well.
100%.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to keep everyone aware.
Oh god, if the answer is you didn't ask, then that's
I hope not. That
Yeah,
sucks so much.
Slap us in the face with his lessons. Do it.
We're gonna leave that for next week. So everybody, thank you for being with us. We're gonna do the rounds. Robert was gonna be with us, but work detained him. So hopefully he will join us next week. We did miss his magical expertise would have helped and all his insight checks, but it is what it is. So let's start in reverse, shall we? Let's start with Hugh. Hugh, can you tell us your character?
absolutely. I am Justin playing Hugh, the Arrow of Alona, who is a super likable guy who doesn't get on people's nerves. He believes in justice for everyone and equal treatment. And I myself, Justin, am the DM of a newly formed game, the Suncrest Chronicles, on One Bad Roll every Tuesday at 7 p.m. EST. We'd love to have you and get this off the ground as fast as we can.
Barricades?
Hi, I'm playing Barakat, the Eloquence Bard. Flattery is the best way to direct attention away from me. I like seeing the smiles on people's faces when I perform. Instrument is important. Identity, secret, yes. And also, apparently, the secondary investigator without
And
any
then
investigation skills.
and finally our two shout outs for Gar and Kix. Kix, will you do the honors?
Yep, that's right. Gar's already got his here. Gar's a total necromancer. He loves nothing more than a good mystery. He's out for self-improvement. He sold his soul for knowledge and hopes to gain it back, and he's willing to sacrifice civilization for it. Meanwhile, Kix is cool and calculating. He's a hero who stands up for all challenges. He puts first everyone under his command, and he has an immense ego and delusions of grandeur.
And I'm your GM. Lessons learned. We were short of a person today, but it was a very good change of pace and investigating stuff. So now they're closing in on what's really happening here at Path Corral, and hopefully they'll find out more tomorrow. Actually, next Sunday, which
next time.
will be Father's Day as well. So we'll keep that in mind. So thank you everybody for coming, and as always, we'll see you. Bye bye, everybody.
See you next time.